$50 billion loss, that is how much Temu parent company has recently lost from the latest earning report. And I'm going to share with you a few things today about Temu practices and how the downfall of them going to impact a lot of people, especially for e-commerce brand owner. And if you're selling on Amazon, selling online, this is going to be something that you want to take into consideration so that you can really focus on what are the right things to do for you. I will also cover about the upcoming election and how either Trump or Kamala Harris presidency selection could impact us as an e-commerce seller that imports stuff from China as well. If you're new here, my name is Justin. I've been selling on Amazon for over 6 years. I do quite well for myself to where I can retire my mom. So my main breadwinner is build and sell company on Amazon and angel investing into new Amazon founder. We do have free resources and learning with the mission to help you guys as a new founder to start and scale your business. So check out the video description for more detail. Without further ado, let's jump right into the computer. $50 billion lost in just 2 hours. That's the staggering blow PDD Holdings, Temu's parent company, suffered after its latest earnings report. Temu, the app that's been flooding your social media with unbelievably low-priced products, is showing cracks that may signal its downfall. In this video, we're going to dissect Temu's business model and uncover the hidden truths behind its rapid rise and why it's teetering on the edge of collapse. Temu's unsustainable business model. Temu has grown faster than any other shopping app in America, attracting millions of users with deals that seem too good to be true. But how does Temu manage to offer such rock-bottom prices? The answer lies in a business strategy that prioritizes cost-cutting above all else. Temu sources directly from manufacturers, particularly in China, bypassing traditional middlemen. It leverages economies of scale and deals mostly in unbranded generic products, which are cheaper to produce and ship. However, this relentless focus on price comes with severe trade-off in quality and ethical standard. The dark side of Temu's sourcing. Many of Temu's products are sourced from China's Xinjiang region, notorious for forced labor practices. Reports from the LA Times and statements from former detainees suggest that over 1 million people have been detained in camps, coerced into manufacturing goods. Despite international bans on products from this region, Temu continues to exploit these low-cost manufacturing hubs, enabling it to undercut even the most efficient competitors. But there's more at play here than just low prices. The de minimis loophole, Temu's tax-free advantage. One of Temu's key advantages is its use of the de minimis rule, which allow import under $800 to enter the US without tariffs. This loophole, originally intended to simplify cross-border shopping, has been heavily exploited by Temu and similar platforms, effectively bypassing US import taxes. This gives Temu an unfair advantage over domestic sellers, driving prices even lower. However, this loophole is now under scrutiny, with US lawmakers pushing to tighten regulation and close this gap, which could dramatically impact Temu's pricing strategy. Mounting supplier protests and unjust practices. Behind Temu's success is a story of exploitation, not just of labor, but of its own suppliers. Recently, hundreds of suppliers staged a protest in China, demanding unpaid funds and condemning Temu's punitive fines. These fines, which can range from 1 to 5 times the value of a product, are imposed for issues as minor as slight packaging differences or delivery delays. Sellers report that Temu often withholds payments, making it almost impossible for them to sustain their businesses. This isn't just a protest, it's a sign of deeper unrest within Temu's supply chain. Quality issues and customer dissatisfaction. It's not just suppliers who are unhappy, Temu's customers are too. Reviews on platforms like Trustpilot and SiteJabber are littered with complaints about poor product quality, misleading descriptions, and slow delivery times. To address these issues, Temu has tightened its standards, but at a cost. Aggressive penalties on suppliers who are often left bearing the brunt of customer dissatisfaction. This punitive approach has driven many sellers to reconsider their association with the platform, seeing it as a race to the bottom. financial losses, and unsustainable growth. Reports suggest that Temu is losing an average of $30 per order in the US alone, with annual losses between $588 million and $954 million across its global operations, including Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. This level of loss is clearly unsustainable. Temu faces a difficult choice: raise prices, which would likely alienate its price-sensitive customers, or continue squeezing its sellers, risking mass exodus and further supplier revolts. Regulatory threats, the end of the de minimis advantage. Temu's reliance on the de minimis rule is facing a serious challenge. Several bills have been introduced in Congress aiming to close this loophole for imports from China. The Import Security and Fairness Act and the Ending China De Minimis Abuse Act are just two of the proposals targeting these tax-free imports. If these measures pass, Temu's ability to offer ultra-low prices could be severely hindered, forcing it to either absorb new costs or pass them on to consumers. The Trump factor: potential trade policy shifts. Adding another layer of complexity is the potential return of Donald Trump to the presidency. Known for his tough stance on China, Trump's administration previously imposed significant tariffs on Chinese goods, sparking a trade war that disrupted global supply chains. If Trump were to return to office, it's highly likely that he would resume or even intensify these trade restrictions. This could mean higher tariffs on goods imported from China, including those currently benefiting from the de minimis rule. Trump has also expressed interest in revising trade policies to prioritize American-made products, potentially introducing new barriers to cheap imports like those sold on Temu. Such changes would not only affect Temu's bottom line, but could fundamentally alter the competitive landscape, pushing consumers to seek alternatives and forcing platforms to rethink their sourcing strategies. This shift could spell disaster for Temu, which relies heavily on its ability to import goods cheaply. The Kamala Harris factor: a different approach to trade and labor policies. If Kamala Harris were to become president, her administration would likely take a markedly different approach compared to Trump. Harris has shown a strong commitment to workers' rights, consumer protection, and ethical sourcing, which could mean increased scrutiny of companies like Temu that rely on questionable labor practices. Harris's administration could push for stronger enforcement of existing bans on goods produced with forced labor, particularly from regions like Xinjiang, further tightening the noose around Temu's supply chain. Harris is also expected to support measures that close loopholes in trade policy, such as the de minimis rule, but with an added focus on ethical trade and sustainable business practices. Her administration might prioritize partnerships that support fair trade, environmental sustainability, and ethical labor standards, which could pressure companies like Temu to overhaul their sourcing practices or face severe penalties. Harris's trade policies would likely focus on strengthening America's competitive edge through innovation and high-quality manufacturing, rather than a race to the bottom on price. This could lead to more incentives for businesses that prioritize ethical sourcing, quality, and sustainability, forcing platforms like Temu to rethink their business models if they want to remain competitive in a more regulated market. The dilemma: can Temu survive? Temu's business model depends on keeping both consumers and suppliers happy, but right now it's failing on both fronts. While customers are lured by cheap prices, they are frustrated by inconsistent quality and slow service. Suppliers, meanwhile, are burdened by opaque pricing practices and hefty fines. This tension is coming to a head, and if Temu doesn't adapt, it could face a mass exodus of sellers and dwindling consumer trust. What does this mean for the future of e-commerce? As regulators tighten their grip and Temu's suppliers grow more vocal, the platform's future looks uncertain. For small e-commerce business owners, this is a wake-up call. Competing on price alone is no longer viable, especially when giants like Temu are willing to bend every rule to stay ahead. Instead, the focus needs to shift to building brand loyalty emphasizing quality, and creating unique products that can't be easily undercut. What you should take into consideration as a brand owner or an e-commerce seller. Temu's rise and potential fall serve as a stark reminder of the pitfall of an overly aggressive, unsustainable business model. Whether you're a seller or a consumer, it's important to look beyond the low prices and consider the broader impact, where you are focusing on building a brand and providing quality products that your customer are willing to pay top dollar just to have your product. Alright guys, I hope you find the information valuable. Just really want to clarify that I'm not on either of both sides of either President Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris. I know there's so many things that happening nowadays, but whichever president that will be selected, I want you guys to remember that the president is something that out of your control. The only controllable that you can do right now is control of your action. All I really want to share with you is that I'm by your side and I'm ultimately with God's side. So God will determine who's going to become the next president, and that's going to be something that is not in our controllable. But what you can do that can control your future for your family, for yourself, and for your brand ahead is the action and the information that you gather today, and how you can prepare yourself to put yourself ahead of other people. For us to build our brand to where we can build and sell $1 million brand, we focus on two fundamental things. Focus on quality first. Second, going to be your customer that we teach our student inside our program. Those are the two things that are going to help you build a long-lasting legacy brand on Amazon and off Amazon. I hope you find this video helpful. Consider to like, subscribe, and also share this video with those that you're going to find helpful to learn this information. And give me a comment where you can share with me what I need to cover so that I can put out the best content from what I learned from a millionaire mentor, so that you guys can prepare yourself for a better life and for a legacy brand to be built. All right? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace for now.